my daughter-in-law said. Your pension should help us. I agreed and changed the direct deposit. It went to a new account. There stayed empty. Family story. I still remember the exact sound of her voice that afternoon. It was a Tuesday in late September, the kind of day when the air in our little Ohio town already carried that first bite of fall and the maple trees along Maplewood Drive were just starting to turn. I was sitting at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee gone lukewarm, looking through the mail, when the back door opened and Brittany walked in like she owned the place. She didn't knock. She never did anymore. Mom, she said, dropping her purse on the counter with a heavy thud. We need to talk about the house payments. I looked up. My son, Greg, was still at work. Their 2 kids were at school. It was just the 2 of us in the quiet kitchen that had once been mine alone after my husband passed. Brittany pulled out the chair across from me and sat down hard. She had that look she gets when she's already decided how the conversation is going to end. Greg and I have been talking. The mortgage is killing us. Daycare is through the roof. And your pension, it's just sitting there every month. You don't need all of it. Not really. Not with the house paid off and Social Security covering most of your bills. I didn't say anything right away. I just watched her. She was 34, still pretty in that sharp, careful way, hair always done, nails always perfect. She smiled at me the way people smile when they're trying to sound reasonable. Your pension should help us, she said. It would take so much pressure off. We could actually breathe. Greg works so hard. The kids deserve a better life than us scraping by every month. I set my coffee mug down carefully. You're asking me to give you my retirement money. Not give, she said quickly. Just redirect. Temporarily. Until we get caught up. You could change the direct deposit. Have it go into our joint account. We'll take care of everything. You won't have to worry about a thing. I looked past her through the window at the backyard where my husband and I used to sit on summer evenings. The bird feeder was empty. I kept meaning to fill it. All right, I said. Her eyes lit up like I'd handed her a winning lottery ticket. Really? You'll do it? I'll change the direct deposit, I told her. I'll call the pension office this week. She stood up so fast the chair scraped. She came around the table and hugged me, the kind of tight, grateful hug that feels more like ownership than affection. You have no idea how much this means. Greg is going to be so relieved. Thank you, Mom. Really? She left a few minutes later, already on the phone with someone, laughing. I sat there for a long time after the door closed, staring at the empty coffee mug. That night I didn't sleep much. I kept thinking about the 37 years my husband worked at the plant. The overtime. The shifts he never complained about. The way he used to say, this is for later, for when we're old and the kids don't need us anymore. He died 3 years before he ever got to be old. The pension was all that was left of those years. On Thursday I called the pension administrator. The woman on the phone was patient and thorough. She walked me through every step. I gave her the new routing and account numbers carefully, reading them twice to make sure there was no mistake. The new account was not Brittany and Greg's joint checking. It was a new account I had opened the day before at a different bank across town, under my own name only, with a debit card I kept in a drawer no one else ever opened. I told Brittany the change had gone through. She hugged me again and said she would make sure the first deposit went toward the mortgage. She even offered to start bringing me dinner once a week as a thank you. The first of the month came. I checked the new account on my phone while I was still in bed. The money was there. Every dollar. I waited. By the 5th of the month Brittany was calling. Mom, the deposit didn't show up. Did something go wrong? I told her I would look into it. I called the pension office again while she was still on the line and put the call on speaker so she could hear the confirmation that the funds had been sent to the account on file. Then I hung up and told her there must have been a bank delay. She called again on the 8th. Then the 10th. By the 12th, she was standing in my kitchen again, face tight, voice higher than usual. "It's not here, Mom. Greg's going to the bank today. Something's wrong." I poured myself a fresh cup of coffee and sat down. "I changed the direct deposit like you asked." "Then where is the money?" I looked at her for a long moment. The kitchen was quiet except for the soft tick of the wall clock my husband had hung the year we moved in. "It's in a different account," I said. "One that isn't empty." Her face changed. The polite mask slipped. "What are you talking about?" "I agreed to change the direct deposit," I told her. "I never agreed to give you the money." She stared at me like I had spoken another language. "You said you would help us." "I said I would change the deposit." I did. It went exactly where I decided it should go. The silence that followed was thick. Outside, a leaf blower started up somewhere down the street. Brittany's hands were flat on the table now, fingers spread. "You can't do that," she said. "We were counting on that money. The mortgage is late. The kids' activities. Everything. Then maybe you and Greg need to sit down and look at your own spending," I said. "Because my pension is not your emergency fund." She stood up so fast the chair tipped and hit the floor. "Greg is going to be furious. This is his mother's money. You're supposed to help your family." "I am helping my family," I answered. "I'm making sure there's still something left when I'm gone. And I'm making sure I can keep the lights on in this house without asking anyone's permission." She left without another word. The door slammed hard enough to rattle the glass in the frame. Greg came over that evening. He looked tired. He always looked tired these days. He sat in the same chair his wife had occupied hours earlier and rubbed his face with both hands. "Mom, what happened?" "Brittany said you diverted the pension." I told him the truth. All of it. How she had asked. How I had agreed to change the deposit. How I had never promised him the money itself. He listened without interrupting, which surprised me. When I finished, he was quiet for a while. Then he said, "She's been spending a lot." I didn't realize how much until the statements started coming. Online shopping. Those subscription boxes she likes. The kids' sports are expensive, but it's more than that. He looked at me. "I didn't know she was going to push you like that." "Well, she did." He nodded slowly. "I'll talk to her." I don't know what that talk looked like. I wasn't there. What I do know is that for the next 2 weeks the house stayed quiet. No unexpected visits. No phone calls asking for money. Brittany stopped bringing the kids by after school the way she used to. Then one Saturday morning she showed up again. This time she had both children with her. My grandson, Ethan, ran straight to the cookie jar like he always did. My granddaughter, Claire, hung back by her mother's side, watching everything with those serious 7-year-old eyes. Brittany sat down without being asked. "We need to start over," she said. I was out of line. I shouldn't have assumed. But we're still in a tight spot. Is there any way you could help just a little? Even half? I looked at the kids. Ethan already had chocolate on his fingers. Claire was still holding her mother's hand. "No," I said. Brittany's mouth tightened. "You're really going to let your grandkids struggle?" "I'm not letting anyone struggle," I told her. "I'm refusing to be the solution to problems I didn't create. If you need help, sit down with Greg and figure out a real plan. Cut the things you don't need. Look at the credit cards. But my pension stays where it is." She left again, this time taking the kids with her before Ethan could finish his cookie. Claire looked back at me from the doorway. I gave her a small wave. She waved back, then was gone. The weeks that followed were strange. Greg started coming by more often on his own. Sometimes he brought takeout. Sometimes he just sat at the table and talked about work. He never asked for money. Once he admitted that Brittany had been angry for days after that last conversation, that she had called me selfish and short-sighted. He said he told her she was wrong. I didn't ask for details. I didn't need them. The pension kept arriving in the new account every month. I paid my own bills. I filled the bird feeder. I finally replaced the old weather stripping on the back door the way my husband had always meant to. On the first of each month I would open the banking app, look at the balance, and feel something settle in my chest that I hadn't felt in a long time. One evening in November, Greg came over with a small envelope. Inside was a card from the kids and a note in Brittany's handwriting. It was short. She wrote that she was sorry for how she had handled things. That she had been scared about money and had taken it out on the wrong person. She didn't ask for anything this time. I kept the card in the drawer with the debit card for the new account. Winter came early that year. The first real snow fell on a Tuesday, the same day of the week Brittany had first sat at my table and told me my pension should help them. I stood at the kitchen window watching the flakes gather on the empty bird feeder and thought about how quiet the house could be when no one was asking for anything. I never changed the direct deposit back. The money stayed in the account that wasn't empty. And every month, when the deposit hit, I let myself remember the look on her face when she realized it had gone somewhere she couldn't reach. That memory never got old.